Released in 1997, The Full Monty is a film about a group of unemployed blue-collar steelworkers in Sheffield, England, who form a male striptease act to make some money. The follow-up series, which picks up a quarter century later, revisits the residents of Sheffield as they strive to survive in a world that may have passed them by. On this podcast, we discuss a recent installment of a different series every show. Today, that's the pilot of this 8-hour Hulu/Disney series. It's June 15th, and you're listening to today's episode. I know it has technically been 25 years since the movie came out in 1997, and I hadn't even heard about the movie up until like a couple weeks ago, but 1997 doesn't feel like 25 years ago.
Oh, it was before I was born, so
yeah, it was before you. I was only a few years old, but still, I mean, that's crazy.
Well, that's actually something that this show addresses, because
right?
you see every one of the main actors from the original film show
who
up
were
again.
In their like 40s in the original film?
And they are so old now, especially Horse. In fact, that factors into his storyline because he's like, it looks the oldest out of all of them.
Paul Barber.
But all of them, like, especially seeing the movie yesterday and comparing it to how they look now,
yeah,
it's crazy.
So staying with the movie from yesterday that you watched, first of all, you watched it on Disney Plus?
No.
Or did you watch it on HBO Max?
I think I watched it on Max.
Okay, and so what'd you think of it?
I would give it 4 out of 5 stars. I found it really enjoyable. It's like a quick 90-minute watch. And overall, like this show, the movie, I did not expect for the storyline that it had about strippers trying to make some money and all of them just being so strapped for cash for it to have the type of heart that it did. And this TV show also has a lot of heart to it as well.
Well, did you know that the movie was originally, it went up against the Titanic for Best Picture of the Year?
Wait, what? Really? It was nominated for Best Picture?
It had a bunch of BAFTAs. It even won some Oscars. Not for Best Picture, though.
That makes a lot more sense because I did check the Wikipedia for the movie and I saw that like the budget was something like $3 million, but the box office was something crazy, like $260 million?
Yeah.
Like, that's insane for the type of movie that this was.
Why?
Because it seemed like it was just such an independent feature. It seems like there weren't that many actors in it, really not that many locations, and it's a movie that I think kind of it relies on the characters' interactions.
What would you compare it to?
I would say the In-Betweeners. That's one thing because kind of the outcast storyline.
The comedy?
I'd say, yeah. Also, I don't know why, but Trainspotting. Coincidentally enough.
What do you mean? You don't know why? Because the main actor is in Trainspotting.
Yes, I mean, like, you have the main actor. But
they even asked Danny Boyle to direct it, and he said no, because he wasn't impressed by the story.
But Trainspotting is a lot more raw. There's a lot of, like, dark humor to it.
So this isn't as dark.
Oh, no. The Full Monty, I feel like, is a really lighthearted film.
Sure. I had 7 facts to go along with the fact that it came out in 1997, but we just went over a couple, like the budget. I'll give you the rest of them, though. It was released days before Princess Diana's death, and only a couple months after Tony Blair was elected as Prime Minister.
Okay, so they do address that because at the very beginning of this TV show, they go through this, like montage, a 1-minute montage, and they say it's been 26 years since this event happened, and it's like 7 prime ministers, like it's been that long, and like 8, I think, events where either where do they live, Sheffield, has like had to go through different region changes.
Well, even at the time, like the workers had been displaced. That was part of the reason, and it just hasn't gotten better.
Right.
And that was part of the reason they brought back the TV show. Why do you think this TV show exists?
I honestly can't tell you.
You don't think that the director or the person who created it really had like a vision, or do you think that like the actors just wanted to come back? Like, if you had to guess,
I would say it was probably something where the actors wanted to come back, because the difference between this and something like That 90s Show or Saved by the Bell, the reboot, or How I Met Your Father is that, yeah, in those TV shows you do have people from the old cast kind of being bought in to help the new cast, but here, no, it really does focus on most of the main characters from the movie. The only additional person that they really focus on is Gaz's daughter, who wasn't in the original film. Her name is Destiny, or Des. That's what they mostly call her in this TV show.
Yeah, so the real reason why they brought it back is Simon Beaufoy, who had been asked to make a sequel for a long, long time, right? Mm-hmm. He actually has written Slumdog Millionaire, 127 Hours, one of the Hunger Games films.
Wow, that is a lot of
Everest. Trust. In fact, he brought in another writer from Trust, Alice Nutter, to help him write most of these episodes. But he basically said that because of what's gone on in Britain and the UK, he really wanted to readdress what these characters would be going through, and not just like the ageism, but also the healthcare there, and how that's struggling, and politics just in general. So really it was about the societal problems of today that brought it back, not because the actors wanted to come back, or nothing light. It wasn't. So that's what makes it funny how it's almost juxtaposed with how light the show can be. Because even in the first episode,
actually,
right?
I think the show is a little bit more darker than the film is. One of the most poignant storylines I really did feel was Horse, and like, because Horse is having to deal with that he's cut off from the outside world. He was one of the dancers in the original films. I think that one of the jokes in the original films was that they hired him because of how long his dick was.
Okay.
But like here, he's
so sorry. But going back to the original film, what did you think of the climactic scene? Did you know that was going to happen?
No.
You didn't know that in the full Monty they were going to go the full Monty.
I was wondering if, well, I mean, that's like the big question in the movie, if they're going to show their dicks at the very end of it. And you only get like a back shot of it. That's the final shot of the film where you see them throw their caps off, and but you see like the back of them. The thing is, I was happy that we got to see the dance, because I wasn't sure if we were going to see the dance or not. I remember I was checking the runtime and there was only 8 minutes left, and the whole movie is about them preparing for this thing.
So I was
like,
going to cut right beforehand?
I actually want to see it, yeah, and thankfully we actually did. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Probably
I think it was most people's favorite part in the movie is the dance.
Yeah.
It's been like done several times afterwards. I think even Prince Charles did it, but like not the full thing, you know?
Yeah, because we kept seeing different parts of the dance throughout, but we didn't see the full thing like come together.
Correction, King Charles. But yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Should I go on with the other facts? Because I still have a few of those.
Yeah.
Okay, other summer releases back then: Men in Black, Face Off, Con Air, Air Force One, Jurassic Park 2, Batman and Robin. It was a busy summer.
Con Air and Batman and Robin.
Yeah, I think 2 of them had Nicolas Cage, right? Doesn't Con Air have Nicolas Cage in it?
Con Air does.
And Face Off?
And Face Off,
yeah.
But I think both were critically, they're very different.
And what did you think of, I'll ask about the TV show too, but the language, because they printed translations for British slang for the American audiences.
Yeah.
Like little leaflets that they would give people before they went into the movie theater.
That's funny. You wouldn't see that happen today.
Did you need to watch with subtitles though?
I did, yes.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it's that way, not just with the full Monty, but I feel like sometimes any show, like for example, Peaky Blinders on Netflix, I had to watch that with captions. Otherwise, I could not discern anything that the characters were saying.
All right, and before you talk more about Horse and how depressing that plotline is, the working title for the film was Eggs, Beans, and Chippendales. Alan Rickman turned down the role of, do you want to guess who?
I can't even imagine. Gaz, maybe? No. Tom Wilkinson.
Gerald? Was that who?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he plays the boss in the original movie, but he's supposed to be kind of the actor that is older than everybody else. I would say that like they're all kind of in their mid-40s.
So what is he like nowadays?
Gerald, so that's something that this show does. We focus on Gaz, we focus on Dave, and yeah, we do see the others like Lomper and Horace and Guy and Gerald, but we only get like kind of a few minutes of in this pilot episode. So I'm thinking that probably as we go later on in the show, we're going to get more
the first
story.
episode's called Leveling Up, and it says it's all about Gaz because it's a wayward father. Gaz becomes a partner in crime to his daughter Destiny, and when she finds herself in trouble.
Yes, and I also want to compare this to Party Down.
Yeah.
Because in the same way that Party Down brought back everybody and then we had like a few new members, this show does the same exact thing.
Few Gen Zers? Yeah.
Yes, but Destiny, the difference between her and all those other people in those TV shows is that she wasn't annoying. She was like actually a well-written character. I
thought the people in Party Down eventually came into their own. But Talitha Wing has gotten a lot of credit for her portrayal here.
Yeah.
She is 26 years old in real life.
I was thinking
so
of
she
myself.
doesn't exactly look like but that's still before the film even came out. Like she watched it for the first time, I think, with her like grandparents or something.
That's my. But Destiny, so she decides not to go to school. Dave apparently is a security guard for the school that Gaz's daughter goes to, and she just decides to ditch. She goes to a mall with one of her friends, and then there's actually not that many references to the original film in this TV show, which was nice because it's kind of annoying when TV shows are brought back and all they do is reference the first thing.
Are you still happy you watched the first 90 minutes of that film though?
Yeah, I mean, the full Monty as a film is fine, but the thing about the TV show is that there's no, like, dancing. I thought that...
They don't strip at all.
I thought that what was going to happen was that it was one of those things where they had to go back and, like, do the dance one last time to make money. It was
the second email that the Simon Beaufoy said he sent. He was like, and yes, you won't have to strip.
So you don't have to actually watch the full Monty to enjoy this episode. Yeah. Like, it's not something... Yeah, you get the backstory. I mean,
would you say that the show is better than the movie, though?
I know... I think that, like,
I would equal footing,
I would need to watch more episodes in order to really make that judgment call.
Are you going to?
I think I will, yeah, because I really enjoyed this episode. So I wanted to talk about Destiny's storyline. She decides to get in a car because she's wanting to bring her friend back to the schoolyard that they're going to. There was even this quick scene where you see the original 7 or 6, however many there are. I think there's 6, right? They are in this restaurant that Lomper, who was in the original film, is working for, called the Big Baps, and they're talking about how a dog has won Britain Got Talent, and as Des has kind of nicked this car with her friend, and they're driving back, the dog is in the back seat. The dog that won Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah, I heard about this, and it reminded me of a BoJack Horseman episode.
Yeah,
it seems like something he would accidentally do.
It was ridiculous, but it was so funny because it was like these people were really wanting this dog back, the owners of it.
Doesn't it seem like something Todd and BoJack would like get into the midst of, and then by the end they would end up throwing the dog off a cliff accidentally, and then someone would catch it, like Mr. Peanut Butter, and they save the day. And how did they end this one? Like, what happened here?
So Des is freaking out about it because obviously they didn't know that this dog was worth that much because they decided instead of kicking it out of the car to bring it along with them.
Is it a tiny dog?
Yeah, I would say it's like a medium size.
And is it doing tricks? Like, if you have a dog that's won the Britain's Got Talent, then you would think that it would be doing tricks.
It's well trained. It can sit. It can roll over. We even see that happen when they first realize that the dog is in the back seat.
But like, what's its special talent?
We never actually.
We don't get to see the special talent. All right.
So they go to Tobani, that's Dez's friends, and because she sent a selfie to someone, and they're like, "Oh, that selfie might actually be bad. That might be evidence that we have the dog." So then Tobani decides to delete it from the internet because she's really tech savvy.
Oh no.
But for some reason she decided because Des and her friend were making jokes that like they should hold it for ransom to actually hold it for ransom for $50,000. So it was like,
it wouldn't be dollars, it'd be euros.
Euros,
Or actually, it wouldn't even be. It would be pounds.
For 50,000, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And then Des goes to Gaz and is like, "I'm gonna need your help. We really need to figure out what to do here." And then Gaz, at the end of the episode, calls the owners, making it seem like he found the dog.
Yeah.
But then the guy, the owner, because there was a guy and a girl that owned the dog. The guy shows up, meets Gaz, and is like, "Look, I hate this dog so much. It's like there's a ton of things we have to do for it. TV adverts, like TV shows. I need you to kill this dog for $10,000. And then Gaz is like, "I don't want to kill this dog. I love this dog," because we see it bond. Uh-huh. And then at the very end of the episode, one of the reasons why Gaz decides that he's going to kill the dog is Nathan, who I believe is the same actor from the original movie, because Nathan is like 10 years old in the original movies.
Oh, okay, no, yeah.
And I think they got the same actor, which if that is the case is really cool. He has a kid, so Gaz is actually a granddad, and the kid needs a new wheelchair because he has some type of disability. Uh-huh. And the wheelchair is like $3,000. And Gaz, right as he's holding a gun up to the dog, the dog covers its eyes and he starts feeling bad for it. And then he's like, "You know what? It doesn't matter. I'm going to have to kill this dog anyways." And right as he raises the gun, that's when Des walks in because she, throughout the course of the episode, got an offer to live with Gaz.
Yes.
And she decides to take it, even though at the very beginning of the episode, it seemed like they didn't really get along or Des didn't want anything to do with Gaz.
Uh-huh.
And she sees Gaz holding this gun up at this dog. And then that's where the episode cuts to black.
So you want to know what happens. It's a cliffhanger.
Yes.
All right, so this leads into the next episode. I thought it solved the situation with the dog, but no, apparently not. Did you recognize most of the characters? Not the younger ones, but the older ones. Like, for instance, Robert Carlyle, you would have seen him, as we said, in Trainspotting, mm-hmm. but also 28 Weeks Later, he's in the opening of that.
He's
okay.
Also
so
he's
in
the
Yesterday.
Guy who runs.
He's also in Once Upon a Time, that TV show. I think he played Rumpelstiltskin. And then Stargate Universe, he actually won an award for that. Tom Wilkinson, you know where you've seen him? Selma, Eternal Sunshine of the
feel like
Spotless
I've
Mind,
seen him in anything.
Michael Clayton.
Yeah.
But there are two that you will know for sure. So Mark Addy, who played Dave. Right?
Where have I seen him before? Because I know that when I was watching him in the original film, I was like, he's so familiar, I just don't know from where.
Well, he was Robert Baratheon in Game of Thrones.
That's where it is. That's, okay.
He was also Fred Flintstone in the second Flintstones movie. The first one, I think, was, I forgot who, John, what's his face?
John Goodman?
Yeah, John Goodman. And then Hugo Spear, who disappears halfway through this series because he was canceled.
Okay,
because he kept on walking past his trailer nude or something.
I did hear about that.
Yes.
Yeah, he said that he got axed or something, right?
Yeah, but there's conflicting reports. The point is, he's not in the rest of the series after a certain point. He played Guy in the original film.
Mm-hmm. And Guy, we only get a quick real scene of everyone except for maybe Gaz and Dave. But Guy, apparently, he has like a higher up at the school, and Jean, who is Dave's wife, decides to confront him because the school that Dave is working at just has so many problems. They don't have enough funding. There's like maintenance problems, and then Jean kind of confronts Guy, I think midway through the episode, and is like, look, I'm going to need people to come to this school and fix it up because it's just like a real mess. But that's like really the only scene we get with him. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, he was the villain in Shrink in Skins season 3 and 4. You know who I'm talking about.
So the Cook thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
He eventually talks to Cook about something. Anybody who's seen Skins knows what we're talking about. The themes that they went over originally in the film were unemployment, fathers' rights, depression, impotence, homosexuality, body image, working class culture, and suicide. You add in the healthcare questions, the politics in this. Is it too much, or is it just
I think
well-rounded?
it does a good job at kind of addressing all that stuff.
There's not a lot of shows we do this. I don't mean to interrupt you too much, but like, there's not a lot of shows that we do nowadays that are so like down to earth.
Yeah.
You know, kind of just like, again, working class, like just not super powery, not like there's nothing very special.
For that, I have to give this show a lot of credit because it doesn't really beat you over the head with these type of problems.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, when you're talking about the depression storyline, I think he probably is most closely related to that because, for example, he doesn't even have a credit card. He doesn't really know how to do anything. Like he goes to a self-service checkout at a store
and apparently
tries
he was
to buy
like
things.
A pretty good dancer in the original.
Yeah,
so
he was
really
probably
sad.
he was probably the best dancer that they had, I think, for that.
To see him taken away, like that ability taken away from him.
Yeah, when you first see him in a wheelchair just kind of blowing past some kids saying, excuse me, it's shocking seeing him. It was just like he had all this white hair. He looks completely different. Definitely the most different from anyone else in the movie.
All right, so main character, though, is still your favorite, Gaz?
Yes, yeah, I would say so. And also Dave has this storyline where there's someone that keeps on stealing snacks from the back cafeteria, and then he finally ends up catching them. And I think that this was a reference to the film because in the film, he's kind of worried about his body weight being made fun of in the dance. And here he's trying to run after the kid, but just cannot catch up to him after a while.
Yeah.
But instead of turning the kid in, this is kind of where the heart comes into play. He's like, I can either go to the principal and tell him you've been doing this, or you can help me clean up the gym. And then the kid and him like clean up the gym. So it was like, it had those like kind of nice, not family moments, but definitely where the characters are more understanding, I guess.
So would you recommend it to everyone? Or is there any like audience where you'd be like, just don't watch it?
I mean, the thing is that it's kind of edgy, I would say. So it's TVMA, right? That's what I assume. Mm-hmm. But if it didn't have those edgy jokes in it, I honestly could see this being shown on like PBS or something. I was actually surprised to see that was on FX.
Do you want to get into the reviews?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So...
I would give it an 8 out of 10, though. That's what I'll say.
Well, you gave it the 4 out of 5 for the other one, right?
Yeah, so... but it's 50 minutes. I would say that it didn't need to be that long. I think it would work better if it was like 35 minutes or so. Some of the storylines kind of get to the predictable route or just are hinted at in this first episode that I feel like they could have maybe expanded on, or maybe they will expand on in the next couple episodes, but I felt like we're just kind of thrown in there for no reason.
Sure.
So those are the only real cons I have for it, but 8 out of 10.
Rolling Stones, Hollywood Reporter, Collider, The Guardian all gave it positive reviews. The only negative ones that I could find were when they said that it got a little too political, it dragged a bit in the course of 8 hours, which I can see that maybe happening.
In the first episode, they do go after cancel culture, and they do talk about how people are maybe too sensitive these days. That happens in the middle of the episode when all the original people are talking. So when you're talking about politics, I can understand where the reviews are coming from with that, but I didn't think it was too much.
Do you think the show would have been a lot worse had they decided to strip?
I mean, probably, yeah.
Okay. So it was a good decision to
veer
away from the
not
full
to do
Monty.
it. Yeah.
In the full Monty. All right. Here's a quick game. 2 of these are true and 2 of them are false, but they're all about the Full Monty. Ready?
Okay.
In 2000, the Full Monty was adapted into an American play on Broadway where the steelworkers were moved to Buffalo and it starred a young Patrick Wilson. In 2013, it became a UK play written by Simon Beaufoy himself and premiered in Sheffield before touring till 2015. In 1999, the cast of Trainspotting and the Full Monty took part in a celebrity game show called Show Me the Money, where Robert Carlyle was heckled for not appearing on the Trainspotting side. In 2012, an ad aired only in the UK for Magic Mike that included Gaz and Gerald's characters passing the strip club named Exquisite, which I think is Magic Mike's strip club, and choosing not to go in. So out of those 4, 2 are real and 2 are fake.
Okay, I know I think that when I passed it on TV like a couple months ago, I did do some research and I remember something about a play. However, I don't know if it was a US play, so I'm going to say that the US play one was false.
The Patrick Wilson one?
Yeah, and I will say that the Magic Mike one was false as well, even though I hope that one's true.
Okay, so the 2 play ones were actually both true. It was adapted into a play twice, the second one actually being written by Simon Beaufoy and premiering in Sheffield back in 2013. Another fact I think that you'd be interested in is originally the cut that they did of the movie was supposed to be terrible. And so they had to have it like saved by a bunch of producers and stuff, and they were originally supposed to cut the hot stuff scene.
Did they say why it was bad?
Well, just because they had to do reshoots later on to add more runtime to it, but I think it was just the order of events and maybe just the storytelling. But they ended up making it work, you know? And also, they didn't tell the extras in the scene where they stripped that they were actually going to go fully naked.
They didn't?
No, so that was the organic, the only people who knew, who weren't able to, like, suss it out, were the cast and the people directing it at the time.
At the very end of the movie, as we said, that's where the dance scene takes place, but it's like an all-women's club?
Yeah.
And
well,
I don't
they
know.
Just want money, though.
I don't know if it would get away with something like that nowadays by not telling the extras.
Exists and Magic Mike and all those stuff. Oh, you mean?
Yes, by not informing them that they were going to be going full nude.
Apparently, the guy who played Guy didn't realize. It's like, wait, isn't this the point of the movie? Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I recommend this show for anyone that liked the movie, and honestly, even if you haven't seen the movie yet, I would just recommend to watch the TV show as well.
Good show, 8 out of 10. All right, thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.